So we're going. We're ready. I don't like the word tutorial, even though this is a tutorial. I don't like the word. It's a dumb word to me. Tutorial. Anyway, this is talking about the two router project. The two router project is a quintessential. If you understand what's going on in the two router project, you're on the way to understanding a lot of things. Okay. I'm going to switch over to Packet Tracer, and we're going to get a computer here. I got a computer here, computer here, computer here. Oh, sorry, I grabbed some switches. So go out, grab the switches here, here. I'm going to put one PC over here. All right. I'm going to grab a couple routers. For this one, I use a 1941 router. Any of the routers will be fine. This is a 1941 router, and this is a 1941 router. We're going to start off building two LANs. I think there's a way I can make this way. I'll cover this in. See if I can do a color. Huh. There we go. Let's do two different LANs. I'll put them in two different colors. So you can kind of see what in a local area that we're dealing with two local area networks. That's a blue and a green. Okay, let's go ahead and say for since this is Houston, and over here is NOLA, and you have two different businesses. All right. Isn't that pretty? Like beach colors. Alright, so remember the wiring button here at the top, green one here, we use a black cord. I'm going to hook the fast Ethernet here to the switch. I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to hook them up just about anything. I will save the one. Alright, we're going to go ahead and wire these up too. Alright. I'm going to do one of your basic first router packet tracer. Most of you have gone through 192.168.1.10. 10. And we know that our gateway is going to be 192.168.1.1. Okay. Set that up. We're going to make this other computer the same almost, except it's going to be 192.168.1.11 and 192.168.1.1. Alright, we're going to make that 1.11. And, you know, we go back to the old fashioned, you know, you can ping it. Ping 192.168.1.11. And there we go. Alright, so very basic. This, you know, like your first packet tracer should probably have been two switches, right? So there you go. All right, we got this one hooked up to that one, and so then we're going to hook up our routers. I always save fast Ethernet 1 and hook it up to gigabit Ethernet 00. We're going to do that over here again. Notice I do things duplicated. I kind of go fast, but we duplicated it. All right, gigabit Ethernet 00. And we'll start off connecting. Go ahead and getting our gateway configured. Command line interface. All right, Remember, we start out at a wizard. I say no. Enable, right? Config terminal. I got to get into that interface. Type in interface tab, gigabit, and type in G00. That config F does indicate that I am in the router interface. I'm going to give it the IP address. IP address 192.168.1.1 and subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Alright. Remember, I have to turn that on, so I say no shut. Shut down, it turns on that interface. Okay. And so we see connectivity here. And this is going to work, and these computers are going to be a pain. So let's go over to NOLA. Right. And I also want to state that in Houston, we're going to have a 192.168.1.0 network, right? /24. Okay. And over here, we're going to have a 192.168.3.network /24. And, the in-between network is going to be a 2-dot network. And that's just like that starts off in the course. The coursework starts off with 2 networks and a LAN connection. A WAN connection, I'm sorry. I'm going ahead and configure this one. Command line interface. Remember, I started out with the wizard. I say no. Enable, config terminal. IP address 3.1, 255.255.255.0. Alright. I must have typed something wrong. Oh, I didn't type IP address. IP address. I'm going to type that command in. ADDRESS 192.168.3.1 255.255.255.0. I wonder what's wrong. Oh, it's late at night. I'm sorry. I need to go to config terminal. I'm not in global config mode. Interface. Gigabit. 0.0. IP address 192.168.3.1. I gotta put that 2. All right, no shut. It turns it on. There we go. All right. I don't know how to do a blooper-free video. It's awfully late at night, and I'm going to make typos and bloopers anyway. So I'm just going to continue on with it. All right, so we have that on. If we type in exit here and there, hit the fast forward button, right? And we have 2 LANs. Okay, we have a LAN and we have a 192.168.1.0 network with a 1.1 interface, 1.1 gateway, and a 3.1 gateway on the other one. And so now what we're going to do to connect the 2, okay? We're going to try to connect the 2 here. So what do we have to do? Well, first of all, what we better do is I'm going to have to power down the router. So this is a good time to talk about this. Here I need to copy, run, and I'm talking about the running configuration and the startup configuration. We want the run to start. So we want to copy the running configuration to start configuration. That way when we reboot the router, we won't lose the data. Okay. So I go to the physical part and I get me one of these. I have to turn it off, right? Click the switch, turn it off, and I get me an a high-speed WAN interface card. Okay, I'm gonna put it there, and I'm gonna have to power that thing on. That's how realistic it is. Okay, it's gonna come back up, and while that's going on, we're going to do the same thing to this router. Remember that the work that we did in the router we would lose if we don't copy running config to startup. Copy the running config to startup config. You see that command? We're going to hit enter. I'll just hit enter again, and now it's done. Okay. Fast forward it. We got to turn this thing off, and we have to add that same WAN interface card. Physical, we'll turn it off. We'll get a 2T WAN card. We'll turn this guy back on. Alright, let's boot him back up. I can do the fast forward time. Alright, and here I get a WAN card. I'm going to get this squiggly line right here, and I'm going to hook it to this computer. So now I add serial. So I'm going to go serial 010, and I'm going to hook it to the identical switch over here, serial 010. I try to hook one cable to the same cable if I can. Okay, serial 1.0. All right. Let's go ahead and give some IP address here. I'll go here, command line. All right. Enable, config terminal, interface, serial 010, and I'll switch it over there, serial 010. Alright, that's what's in the zero space. What happened here now is I have a problem with my hotkeys because I have a 1 key and a 2 key. Oh, I can use the other key. 010, and it won't turn my scene like that. Okay. Interface 010, and I'm gonna give it an IP address of IP address 192.168.2.1. 255.255.255.0. Alright. No shut, right? It's going to turn it on. Okay. And we start seeing the green lights. We're going to go over here to this router on the right. On command line interface, we're going to go into enable, config, terminal. Alright. Interface, serial 010. IP address 192.168.2.1, 255.255.255.0. Alright. Now with everything hooked up, you think we could probably be ready. Everything should work. Okay, so we're going to go back in the router and we're going to test it and see how that works. So here, this router, I go to Control Z and I get down to here. Now let's do a couple pings here. 3.10. Oh wait, I hadn't done that PC. Let's go ahead and configure that PC. Make sure it's configured. 192.168.3.10. 255.255.0, 192.168.3.1 is a gateway. Alright, so now we're going to go into the router, and I don't know if you remember this, but we can ping from the router. Okay, now let's see if I can ping 3.10. Should be able to. Yeah, it'll do it again. I'll get to 80%, 100%. Okay, it's been acclimated. Okay, so we can ping that. Can I ping ping 192.2.2? Oh, it won't let me ping it. And this might be what I do. Show IP interface brief. So I made it 2.1 and I should have made 2.2. So I actually gave it the wrong address. As you can see, if I go over here, like I said, I'm always going to make mistakes. So anyway, let's check it out. So I want to look at this to see what I did wrong. I can say show IP interface brief. Yeah, so I have a duplicate IP address. That's a big problem. It's a big problem. Just like if you had two houses on the same street, and that was my mistake. So I'm gonna go back in here. Chances are, if you mess this up, it'll be a typo. All right, so I'm gonna go back in the interface, config terminal, interface, serial. If it remembers, 0010. I'm gonna get to go here and say. I'm gonna give it 2.2. Okay. All right. Control Z. Show IP fit interface. Now I know that my 0010 is 2, and then I can ping 192.168.2.2. All right. So 100%. That is a connected interface. Okay. If I type in show IP route. It'll show everything, what's connected. CFIN's connected, and L is local. Local means that the switch, it's in there. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can ping 2.1. Ping 192.168.2.1. Yeah, it's connected. 2.1 is physically connected to the router. So, do you think that this PC in Houston is going to be able to ping all the way over to New Orleans? And so it won't. Okay, it won't. Well, I won't take the time to do it. It's not going to ping. Okay, and the reason why it's not going to ping is that we don't have a routing protocol on these routers. Okay, the router does not have a path. I got a wrapper right here. If a wrapper, if the router receives something and it doesn't know what to do with it, it just drops it. Okay, it drops it. And so right now, the connectivity between this router and this this network and that network, or these computers and that computer, these routers don't know what to do with traffic that's trying to get through here. So we have to train the router, and we're going to use RIP, which is Router Interface Protocol. It is the first of the routing protocols that we, and basically we're just going to tell the router what to do. Okay, so we're going to go to this router. All right. If you missed it on this router, you'll see me doing it on the other router, and it's pretty similar. So we'll do this. Config terminal, right? I'll type in router RIP. Put in version 2. Okay, so I want to run router version 2. I type in network, and I'm going to type in the 2 networks that this router is connected to. I'm going to basically introduce it. A routing configuration is kind of like when someone else moves in the neighborhood, and you say, hey, I want you to introduce them, and I want you to introduce them. And sometimes you may have like a little bit of an agenda as to who you want these new people to hang out with, and who that you don't want them to hang out with. And so setting up a router protocol is similar to that. So here is network 1. We're going to say this one's hooked to 192.168.1.0. Alright, and it's also hooked up to 192.168.2.0. Alright, now if I remember right, that's all I have to do. We're going to do the same thing to the next router. Okay, so if you missed it, the last thing, if I have duplicate, config terminal again, router rip, version 2. I'm going to type in network 192.168.3.0, and we're going to also type in network 1.2.0, because this router is hooked to the 2.0 and the 3.0 network. Remember, there's 3 networks: a 1.0, 2.0, and a 3.0. The WAN is actually a network. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Theoretically, this should be able to ping. So I should be able to go to the command prompt, and I should be able to type in ping 192.168.3.10. Now if it fails initially, it didn't. So I can ping across that network now. That means my packet went all the way over to 3.10, and I should be able to ping the other computer from this one. Command prompt ping 192.168.1.10. .10. I gotta reply, and everything's beautiful. Okay, and so one of the things I want you to remember is that even though you had all the wiring connected and all the IP addresses correct and all the interfaces turned on, that we still did not have connectivity because we did not configure our routers. And we're going to talk about other ways to configure our routers, but this is a packet tracer that kind of explains how to configure the basic configure router to get those packets across from router to router. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I hope you like my new setup. I'm doing a dual camera setup, and we'll maybe do some more like this. Alright, tell me what you think. Thank you.